So Apple is actually going to be doing something right. I know some people hate Apple and some people love Apple, but I think for the most part the upcoming change to iOS 13 is going to be a smart move from Apple, and I think a lot of people are going to be extremely happy with what Apple has in store for iOS 13. So somebody recently found a brilliant feature in the upcoming iOS 13, and I think it's a smart move from Apple. Basically, this brand new feature in upcoming iOS 13 is going to be a feature that pretty much saves your battery in the long run. I think it's called like battery optimizer, and it's pretty much not what you're thinking. Pretty much when you turn on battery optimizer is going to make sure that your iPhone's battery doesn't degrade in the long run, because as you know, the longer you own your iPhone, the longer or the shorter amount of battery life you do get, and eventually one day your battery is going to completely die on you and there'll be no way to actually charge your battery. That's pretty much how battery technology works. Batteries don't last forever, but with this brand new battery optimizer that Apple is implementing in iOS 13, it's going to try to protect your battery in the long run. And apparently how Apple explained this feature, and basically when you turn on battery optimizer for your iPhone that's running iOS 13, apparently what's going to happen is it's going to determine how much you charge your phone, how much you not charge your phone. It's pretty much going to learn your battery charging habits, and apparently from machine learning technology on iOS 13, it's going to protect your battery in the long run. Not to say that your battery still won't die. Of course, your battery will still die, but by having this battery optimizer in iOS 13, it's going to try to protect your battery so that in the long run your battery will last longer in the long run. Now, of course, nobody has actually checked this feature out for themselves, so there's really no proof of how well this machine learning feature in iOS 13 is actually going to work, but according to Apple, it should work, and you should get many more years out of your battery if you're a person that doesn't upgrade your smartphone, because nowadays a lot of people just flat out do not upgrade their smartphone. The rule of thumb back in the day when it comes to smartphones, the rule of thumb was you were supposed to upgrade your smartphone every 2 years, but with smartphones becoming much more expensive and smartphones not really advancing in technology all that much from smartphone to smartphone, I can really see why a lot of customers out there just flat out do not upgrade their smartphone every 2 years. Hell, some people don't even upgrade their smartphone every 3 years. So you can see people are holding on to their smartphones longer, and it is nice that Apple is actually going to be having this brand new feature called battery optimizer. Props for Apple. Apple actually understands the market, and they actually understand that people do keep their cell phones longer. If you didn't know this, with modern day smartphones, you can actually change the battery in modern day smartphones. Sure, they're not user replaceable and not easy to change, but you can go ahead and change your battery in something like your iPhone, something like your Android device. Even if it has a glass back on it, there's always a way to open it. But for the mainstream consumer, it's very hard to get into these type of phones. A lot of the times you do have to take your phones to a reputable a dealer who knows how to fix his phones and things like that, and they're the ones who actually have to fix the phone for you. So it is going to be nice in the long run that you don't have to worry about trying to find out what happens when your battery dies, trying to get it replaced, trying to open up your device, which when you open up your device in the long run, that could cause problems down the road, whether it's the waterproofing technology in your phone or whether something bad's bound to happen. It is nice that you should be able to hold on to your battery longer in the long run with this new battery optimizer feature. Now, one thing to take note really quickly about this new battery optimizer feature in iOS 13, it looks like from a lot of people who are already testing iOS 13 beta, since iOS 13 beta is already available to users and you can download this for yourself if you want to check out iOS 13. But basically, apparently a lot of people who already downloaded iOS 13 beta said that this feature was already on by default, so that is nice. Apple even turns this on by default. Now, the real question is going to be here, in the long run, are you really going to notice your battery degrading slower when it comes to this battery optimizer? Honestly, I think for everyday use and you using this phone and things like that, I'm not quite sure if you'll even be able to recognize your battery degrading slower. I think you'll probably be the same amount of time that it normally is, but according to Apple, you should be able to get a longer lifespan of your battery, and that's absolutely nice. So props to Apple for actually doing something right in this instance. And now that I know that iOS 13 has this battery optimizer feature, I wish that other smartphone manufacturers that make smartphones on the Android side would actually implement this feature. I think this is a brand spanking amazing amazing feature, and props to Apple again for actually making this battery optimizer feature. And I think once iOS 13 comes out, if you hold on to your phones a long time, or if you're a user of iOS 13 or a user of the iPhone, then I definitely think you should have this on by default. It's definitely going to save your battery in the long run. Again, before I head out of this video, I want to make this clear. Nobody has actually tested this feature out, so we don't even know how well this works, if it works at all. We'll have to wait and see when iOS 13 actually rolls around and comes out to the market on how well this actually works, and somebody would actually have to test this in the long run, but at least it is a feature. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.